you guys, and welcome to Storytime Saturday on my channel. My thoughts will probably offend you. And today we are going to be concluding, for the most part, the end of me and my father's relationship. This is a series or episodes or whatever you want to call it, but if you haven't seen the other ones first, I recommend watching those before you watch this one, unless you just hate being told what to do. If that's the case, feel free to stay, honey, but you might be a little out of the loop if you don't. So I put the links below so you can watch those, and then you can meet us back here. So before I start, like I said in video 1 and 2, this video might just be a little off-putting for some people because I make jokes about the situation. I'm very sarcastic. I made a shirt out of it. Yes, I have merch now. It's how I deal with my pain. And quite frankly, me and my family just laugh at the situation because we kind of think that my dad's a joke. So with that being said, let's start this train wreck. So the tension was very thick since me finding out that my dad choked my mom, and you know, the whole my dad trying to do the same thing to me. And it brought back a whole bunch of childhood memories for some reason that sprouted up that really just irritated me. Just a lot. So like I said in the other ones, this all kind of happened during the holidays. So during like Christmas and everything, I went back to California with my boyfriend and to visit all my old friends and be merry during the Christmas season. And it was my first Christmas away from my family and experiencing everybody else's Christmas and how it kind of goes down in their house. And quite frankly, I was pissed. And just a lot jealous. A lot. Watching a lot of my best friends and my girlfriends interact with their father really just kind of irritated me and made me angry for some reason. And then on top of all of that, my boyfriend and his sister has a great loving relationship with their father as well. Like this one time we were all making dinner, we were gonna eat at home and the dad wasn't home yet, and the sister goes, "Man, I really hope dad gets here so he can eat with us." And I kind of just flashed back and was like, I've never said that about my dad. I try to hurry up and eat before he walks into the door so I can enjoy my meal. So it was just so different for me, and I kind of realized, wow, everybody else had this great relationship, and here I was being a loser with a father that seems like he hates all his children and that it feels like a chore to even say hello to them. So I felt like I kind of missed out a little bit. So the holidays are over, I traveled back home, and I'm pissed. I now realize that my dad never fucking loved me. I'm under the impression that he only had kids for his sick fascination of looking like the perfect American man. And now I'm very pissed that my dad has been verbally abusive and now physically abusive to my mama and attempted to be physically abusive towards me. And like I mentioned before, I am burning with rage and completely trigged out that it seems like all my friends, my boyfriend, and everybody else had this great father that loved them, gave them lots of love, supported them, and I was standing there with a dad that would pretty much disown me if my legs were ashy. So something that kind of irked me when I got back home is when my father would enter the room, he would say absolutely nothing. I would be, and same with my other family members, we would all have to be the ones to say hello. So I kind of just wanted to see if I didn't say anything, would he say anything? And this is how it went down. And I wanted to see how long that would kind of go on. Months. I mean, who walks into a room and says nothing? And like I said, it wasn't just me he would do this to, it was everybody in the family. It's like we had to address him, the king, because he was the king of the house. I don't know. But my mom noticed, you know, that when my dad would walk in the room, I would say absolutely nothing. And my mom was always someone who wanted to make the situation okay. She always wanted us to be that happy family. And she talked to me about it, and I literally say, Mom, Dad is an asshole. It looks physically painful for him to even say hello to any of his kids. So I'm not going to force anyone to talk to me that clearly doesn't want a relationship with me. If he doesn't want to talk to me, I'm not gonna force it. I feel like I shouldn't have to force a relationship, conversation, anything kind of enjoyment thing going on with my dad if he doesn't 120. And my mom says, well, why don't we have a family meeting? Yeah, that'll fix things. It didn't. But I say, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll talk about it. I'm down for communication. I love talking things out. The opposite of what my dad likes. But yeah, this'll work. I agree, and she tells my dad, and she has to set up a whole meeting, and me, my mom, my sister, all go into my man's cave for our wonderful family meeting. That's going to bring us all together. Yeah, let's see how this goes down. So right when we walk into my dad's football man cave, this is all I see. Okay, not exactly this, but pretty much he's just facing the wall. So he's pretty much sitting at his desk, not even turning around, and he knows we're in there. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm talking to the back of your head. So I just started talking about everything that I've been feeling, pouring my soul out to my father, which I've never really done before. And this is what this man that I call Daddy does. So my mom had to step in and say, dear, can you at least turn around and talk to your kids? And he does this. So he turns around and says, you don't understand what I'm going through. I'm the one that's sick. Do you know what I have? This is how I deal with it. So my dad has something called CTE and neurosarcoidosis. So I don't want to go into too much detail when it comes to what my dad has, but CTE is something that football players get when they get banged in the head a lot, because that's what happens in football. P.S. If you are thinking of playing a sport or putting your kids into some sport, I really do not recommend football. Oh yes, football, it's the Americans' most loved sport, but this is coming from someone who was in the NFL and college football family for most of my life. But I suggest taking up golf. Seriously, even when I talk to like my high school guy friends who played football, you know, gung-ho into football, gonna go crazy on the field, they're even messed up. So yeah, fun sport, but not fun when you get older. That is for sure. Sorry if that triggers anyone that is a diehard football fan, but do your research. But yeah, super fun sport, but I just would not recommend it if you want to feel good when you get older. So I know a lot of people are probably going to make excuses for him because many people know what CTE is, or they just feel for him because he's got a very serious health issues going on. But the thing is that even before things got bad like this, he was already an asshole. So he's just using his health issues as an excuse to cover up his horrid behavior and his lack of being there for his children as a father. So that whole thing didn't convince me. Not then, not now, or not ever. And I told him that you've always been like this, but now that you can't see, walk properly, drive, anything, it just got worse. And of course, once again, he did the whole thing telling me that I'm just wrong about everything. He was always there for us as children. We were super close when we were kids, and I don't remember any of that, nor does any of the other children, and my mom doesn't. He's the only one that remembers us being close. I brought up a lot of the stories that I told you guys in the past 2 episodes, and you know what he says? That I am a liar. So yes, you guys, you heard it first. I lied about everything. Everything I told you, that's a complete lie. Yeah, I'm just bored. I have absolutely nothing to do except lie about what my dad has said and done in the past, and put a lot of hours into my videos, and you know, wanting to get a therapist and whatnot. I just lie. It was all for attention. Sorry to disappoint. I'm just a big fat liar. Anyway, so when he said I was a liar, I got pretty triggered, and I was like, I'm lying. And I brought up a key event that happened in the past. I was 9 years old. I remember it like yesterday. I'm not gonna go into super grave detail, but I remember it like it was yesterday, and I screamed it to everyone. No one else knew, but I said it in front of my mom, my sister, and my dad, and my boyfriend was in the other room. We were keeping it like just family for our meeting. So everyone heard it. By the way, it wasn't that he's like sexually touched me or anything. My dad never did that, because I feel like people will probably guess that's what it was. It wasn't that. My mom really dug into my brain that no one touches your lady bits. I don't play that now, and I didn't play that then. When I was little, you try to touch little mini Michelle, you're gonna catch some mini hands and bite marks on your ankle. I was a feisty little one. So I went into grave detail about this little event, and I mean detail. I was saying every tiny little thing. I have a really good memory, you guys. But I remembered everything, and I know his ass remembers them. And I don't think he knew that I knew. And I was screaming it loud, going into detail, every minuscule thing that he probably didn't even remember himself. And he was pissed. He was yelling, telling me I'm a liar, telling me to shut up, and I just kept going. I'm a grown-ass woman now. What are you actually going to do? Well, let me tell you what this grown man then proceeded to do. He was now running over to me, and I remember just spitting everything out of my mouth, words, and I remember just seeing his hands coming up like how Homer Simpson approaches Bart.
Why, you little...
Uh-oh. And then I remember thinking, he just said he never choked my mom, that my mom was lying about him choking her. But now his crusty hands are coming at me like this, towards my neck. Now I am an odd person when I get actually real life upset. I get into this odd zone of I want to whoop your ass because I see that you want to whoop my ass. And I'm not just gonna sit here and let you whoop my ass. So he's coming at me like this, and I go, kick! I straight Sanji'd him in the chest. And he falls back and my sister catches him. Okay, so this is where it gets very weird. God, just listen. Let's just get one thing straight here is that I am a fucking lunatic. But in my favor, I was just pissed and so fed up with all the years with my dad and just done. And I really just needed to let out all my years of frustration. Of course, I naturally do it in the most weirdest and demonic way. So my dad starts yelling, "Get out of my house!" So I don't know why that whole my house thing pissed me off at that time, but I think it's just because it's always been like all about him. Everything's his. He achieved this. It's all his, him, and him. So that kind of triggered me even more. And so I let out in the middle of my father's football lair a Xenon warrior scream, probably with a dash of SpongeBob shrill. And my mom's like, Michelle, please get out the room. And my dad's yelling over and over, "Get out my house," really putting the emphasis on my. And you know what? It is his house. So I say, I don't give a fuck. Literally, little finger is up in the air. And I don't talk like that. I don't think I've ever said I don't give a fuck. But I really didn't give a fuck. I didn't have to be there. I could find my own place. Honestly, I already knew that was going to happen, and we've been looking at places anyway and had a plan in order. I don't just blow up like some crazy person. I blow up like some crazy person with a plan. So yes, I really didn't give a fuck. But I already knew that was gonna happen because he needs to feel powerful. And what makes a man feel more powerful than throwing out his daughter to the streets of the suburbs? And what makes a man feel more powerful in a situation where his little precious baby girl that he never wanted in the first place was blurting out all his secrets? Throw her out. Done. Right? What a powerful man. What a strong man. Can't even have a conversation with his daughter without trying to physically assault her and then kicking her out. So strong. Okay, so all of this is going on. I'm Xenoning in the middle of my dad's area. My sister's holding my dad back, and my mom is in the corner just about to cry because our family is just so fucked up. And my boyfriend is right outside the door while all of this wonderful family gathering thing is going on. So he's starting to come in probably to get my crazy ass out. And at this moment, you probably think that this whole situation is weird. Well, it gets weirder. So before he's able to come into the room, I push the door open. That thing swings open and slams into the wall. So I walk out, but just before I leave, I turn around and say, "I hate you." So right when I walk out, my boyfriend says, "Are you okay?" You guys, I don't know what was wrong with me, what kind of demon possessed me at that time. Maybe the Holy Ghost, I don't know what the hell was inside of me. But I turn to my boyfriend, I scream. And I go, literally push him away up against the wall, and he's just like, No, I have no clue why that happened. No idea. It's a good thing my boyfriend's a big dude, but yes, that was wrong. Definitely hate the fact that I pushed him, but he kind of laughed about it. But anyway, we're not done with the situation yet. So after I push him away from me, I then proceed to rip everything off the wall. All the precious little things that my dad needs to define him. I was pushing down all these objects, kicking things off of surfaces, punching shit. Like, I don't know what the hell was going on. I was definitely letting out 28 years of anger. And while I'm doing all of that, just going crazy, I'm making my way into the back room. I then start to have a panic attack. I am still screaming at this point. I hate him! I hate him! My boyfriend's trying to calm me down. I'm still trying to push him away. And then I couldn't breathe. I could feel my throat just closing up. My chest was on fire. My head felt like I was going to explode. My legs felt heavy and I literally just collapsed into this like position on the floor. My whole body felt like it was just shutting down. I'm not sure if it was exactly a panic attack. I don't know what it was called, but I know it was something was wrong. And then after all of that, once I got myself together, I then proceed to go back into my dad's lair and say, you know, you didn't even want kids anyway. You only wanted kids to impress your gross, egotistical, disgusting friends. And you know what this wonderful man that I call father said? If that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. Now, I'm not a parent, but the parents watching, you tell me, if your kid came and told you that they think that you only had kids because you just wanted to make yourself look better, what would you do? Because I don't even have kids, and that breaks my fucking heart. Even imagining my child saying that. If that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. But he said it with love, right? So surprisingly, after all of that big blow up, we were able to sit down and have a conversation. Black families, I tell ya.
Calm down, it was a joke.
My dad still made it all about him. He refused to talk about any of the key points that I brought up. He claimed that I was either lying or he didn't remember any of those things. And I said, and apparently in his head, everything was just okay at that point after I said, my last day at the house, I left on good terms, even gave my dad a hug. But as I drove away, tears rolling down, I knew that would be the last time I would see my dad. I came to the conclusion that I don't need that type of person in my life, despite the fact that he's my dad. It hurts me being around him socially, now that I see people who have an amazing relationship with their fathers, and mine is literally donkey poop. And so I decided, I'm done. And I haven't seen my dad since, and I'm definitely still battling things mentally. The fact that I'll never have a father-daughter relationship, how my lack of a relationship affects my romantic relationship, and a plethora of other things. For me, dropping him was the best thing I think that I could have done. I really do believe that if someone in your life is not treating you the way that you want to be treated and has no respect for you and only thinks of themselves, you need to let that person, relative or not, go. And I'm sure people watching are gonna disagree with me because that's my dad. He gave you life. Well, technically, yeah, but my mom put in most of the work. I came out of her vagina. This is my life. It's totally okay if you don't agree. Live your life and deal with people the way that you want to deal with people. If you have daddy issues like me, don't be afraid to share it in the comment section. I really do enjoy your guys' comments. And I really want to say thank you for all the messages I get sharing your guys' daddy issues with me on Instagram. And yes, I do have merch. It's a real shirt. I am going to laugh at my flaws and all of my mental issues. It's how I get through life. If you don't like it or it doesn't sit well with you or you just think it's a weird way of dealing with things, that's okay. Just you don't have to watch my channel or purchase it. People laugh at this shirt at first, but then I start having a really good conversation with someone once I explain my issues, and usually they tell me something about their life, and I'm amazed, saddened, and amazed with how many other people kind of have fathers or mothers, parents like I had, which is very sad, but now I kind of know that I'm not alone, which is a very nice feeling to have. So if you guys want a shirt that instantly opens up dialogue about mental health and abuse of parents, check out my merch store. I hope you guys enjoyed this series. I really enjoyed telling it. Like I said, you guys are my therapy. Thank you, thank you, thank you for letting me just word vomit all over your screen. Just smearing it all over the place. Thank you for that. You guys are truly my therapy, so thank you so much, and I will see you guys next time.